Hey everyone, Chris Bentley here. Welcome to the Social 333 podcast. I'm your host, and today I have Jason Nemes.
How's it going?
Good, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your background before I dive into some questions for you.
So long story short, given I'm 40, born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Went to high school out here, college out here, many different jobs growing up, mainly so I started working at 12. My parents were pretty much like, you want video games, you can work. So I was lining soccer, like a linesman for soccer games at 12 years old.
Cool.
And started reffing at 13. And yeah, so hard work has always been instilled in me from the very beginning, basically, and you want something, work hard for it. Yeah. Parents split when I was 1, but they co-parented very well. So my dad was always there to get me every weekend. And I had a pretty good childhood. It's nothing crazy like some of the stories you hear. But yeah.
Talk about your entrepreneurial journey, because a lot of people that are in our audience are entrepreneurs, business owners. Up to this point, I'm pretty sure you have a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, so like I said, I went to college out here, but I worked sales jobs, and then things weren't going as well as they once had. So I got back into school, back into college when I was 23, graduated at 27 with a business degree, a BBA in economics from the University of North Texas. And from there, I got into the corporate world. And I always tell people, if you are in the corporate world and you wake up, you got peace of mind, you love life, well, more power to you. But that was not the case for me. And I had actually said no to an opportunity with the network marketing space. And then, so I graduated in December 2012. I started corporate January 2013, ran into my buddy April 2013, and I actually told him no to the opportunity for 4.5 years. And then when I ran into him that day, I just noticed there was something different about him. The way he spoke was different. The way his energy, his aura, there was just something different about him, which was very attractive. And then we all went back to his house. It was his birthday that day, April 4th. And I saw the house that he had, 10,000 square foot house, multiple 6-figure cars in the driveway. And we were roommates years back. And so, all we would do was just party our asses off. And so when he asked me to follow him in the entrepreneurial space, it was an automatic, there's no way I'm following you. Like, what are you going to show me? What are you going to teach me? And so, I went to college. And then, fast forward to 2013. And I saw everything that that I'm seeing, the houses, the cars, and just who he was as a person. He completely transformed. And so that's when I was willing to truly take a look with an open mind. And that is what truly started me in the entrepreneurial journey. I haven't had a boss since then.
Really?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about some of the bumps in the road, because I've experienced tons of stuff.
I've had everything you could think of.
So talk about a little bit about that. I know that you said you had an addiction. I know you had a heart attack.
I lost my little brother. I had some health situations, which we can dive more into later on. I don't know when you want to. Partying like crazy. I lost everybody in my business for the most part 2 different times. Had to rebuild my organization. Changes within the company. It just, obstacle after obstacle after obstacle.
What did you every entrepreneur has a journey. I've had multiple where, something else started out great and then I go bankrupt, and then like I gotta go get a job or like go, do some horrible stuff to make some money, and then I like kind of get it going again, find something different, and then build on that. Is that kind of how you started, or you just went to school and then you're like, okay, I got out of school and like this person's making dough, and like you have those moments where you're like, wait a minute, like you're making this kind of money, like, and I know you, and like I know that we're all competitive. We're all entrepreneurs. So you're like, I could beat this person, right? Inside your head, you're like, I can sell this more than this person. Is that kind of what happened with you, and that spark that happened that was
Well,
like, okay,
I did have the mindset where if he can do it, I can do it. Yeah, but the first part of what you said, that happened later on with that company.
okay,
The things start to kind of decline and you pivot.
mm-hmm,
Yeah. So like I said, I rebuilt my business twice and I didn't feel like doing it again, which I still make a nice 6-figure residual income. Is just not what it once was.
mm-hmm,
And there was a shift within the company that didn't really align with me. And so that's when I was faced with the decision. And so a buddy of mine hit me up in December of 2023. Mind you, my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, she is a real estate hustler. And so she would be working all day. And I didn't really work my business much, coming up on like 2 or 3 years at that point. And just, getting my residuals, right? And so she started getting irritated with like me doing nothing, even though I was still making a decent amount of money. She was tired of me not being productive, which I totally understand. And I'm grateful she put the pressure on me. So I was just trying to decide what I wanted to do. I got people hitting me up about solar, people hitting me up about the insurance world. And mind you, each person that I'm friends with, they're multimillionaires in their space. They're top 1%ers in their space. So each one you can do very well in. And then I had people talking to me about roofing. One of my best friends is a huge developer, and he would always bring up roofing to me. He's like, dude, you should start a roofing company. You should get into roofing. You're great at building teams and talking with people and selling. You need something with big checks,
mm-hmm.
So, and because he's a developer, he knew some people in the roofing space that are just crushing it, right? So that was always something that he would say. And of course, I had it in the back of my mind. And then a buddy of mine hit me up in December of 23 and asked me if I wanted to start a roofing company with him in Texas. Long story short there, he had another company with a guy in Oklahoma, but that guy didn't really have a vision of expanding, and he wanted to expand. So that's why he hit me up to start a different company with me in Texas. So we did. We each have our own version of this part of the story, and he and I are still very close. We talk almost every day, but we decided it was best if we just parted ways. So June of last year, the end of June of last year, we went our separate ways. But again, he already had another company and a partner, and so he just basically went to that. And then that's when I started Summit Solutions.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, what attracted me to you was like the exotic cars. Like I know you show a bunch of stuff. I'm into Lamborghinis. I see you got a McLaren.
McLaren,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I was just like, oh, cool. Like, chances are I'll end up running into you at some point, like
For
at
sure.
a car club or
Yeah.
something like that.
I like to go to the meets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like it's real cool. And I saw that. Talk to me a little bit about like the business mindset, since we have a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners. Like, what did you really like pivot from? Because I've been in those situations where you're like, you're dating someone and that person isn't really like doing anything, and you're like, man, like
It's the worst.
I'm out here like hustling and like trying to make some money, and then she's out just kind of like spending your money on shopping and other BS, and you're
Yep.
like, well, like I'm tired, and she wants you to go take a shower and go party, and you're like, dude, like I gotta go, like I got appointments in the morning.
I have a story about this in my book.
But yeah, talk about that and like the book and stuff like that. Go ahead.
I mean, well, just on that situation, I'll never forget the exact moment. We're sitting at a bar top because we're sitting at the bar. I wanted food, right?
Right.
I got a water. She gets a beer, and she takes a sip of the beer, And she was like, oh, I needed that. And I just remember thinking like, what? Like, you needed a sip of beer? And there's nothing wrong with drinking, but it was just like how she felt just about taking the sip of the beer. I don't know. It's maybe I'm weird, but it rubbed me the wrong way. It's like that was her calming down, and like that was her sense of calm was taking a sip of the beer. I don't align with that.
Right.
And I was like, man, what am I doing? But I also drifted off my path. I was heavily into drugs and partying at that time. So, I mean, it makes sense. And she's the girl that I attracted along that path. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense. But that was an aha moment. Like, what is going on here? This is not, no.
I've had situations where like that happens where they're like, oh, I needed that, or like, I can't wait to go party or go do whatever. And I'm like, well, like, you haven't done anything all day.
I was just in Vegas for so my grandma was adamant about going to Vegas.
Okay.
Right. And she's 82, I think.
Wow.
Starting to lose her memory a little bit. So my mom booked the flight with my grandma, and I was like, well, I got to go. You know, I got to be there because I don't know how many other opportunities there's going to be to go to Vegas with grandma and mom. So my wife and I went, and I mean, I was there. Yeah, we got there Saturday, came back last night, and I mean, I had anxiety being out there. Like in my mind, I'm just like, I need to be working, which I'm still working and doing stuff from my phone. But like today, first thing in the morning, 9 a.m., got a roof approved, and then went to a referral project actually that my wife sent me. Massive house. And he has like, it's like a whole nother wing to his house that he wants to completely redo.
Wow.
I mean, multiple 6-figure job. And so like, those are the things that I feel like I need to be doing every single day. Yeah. I that is what I love.
Yeah. I love being in the field.
Yes.
I love like working. And then the thing is, I think a lot of times, like when you're in a relationship and the other person doesn't understand that you enjoy that kind of stuff, like that's what you do, then I don't know if they resent it is the right word, but like they just don't harbor the same feelings. So for them, they're like, oh, you're just like punching the clock or doing whatever, because they figure it out in their own mind. They kind of reflect it onto themselves. So I've experienced that unless they're in sales and they understand. So you have an author as a book writer. You also did TEDx.
I did a TED Talk. Yep.
Yeah. How was that?
It was great.
Really?
I don't really get like too nervous when I speak, because I've been doing it for a while, but I was pretty nervous for that one, because they have a team that reviews the speech, you know, and so like there's certain criteria that you have to meet in order to get published. Also, my grandma, she flew in for it.
Wow.
From, at that time she was living in LA. She flew into like the Salt Lake City area, and I'll never forget her calling me and being like, don't F it up. She's like, you know, I'm old and I'm coming all the way there to watch this, so don't F it up. And I was like, yes, grandma. And then I had my wife, she was there, and we were kind of like not brand new dating, but like probably 6 months in. So I mean, you know, you feel a little pressure.
Yeah.
But it was great. Yeah, I had a great time.
So if you were to go back and kind of reassess and be like, okay, if I could have seen what I got now and done things a little bit different as an entrepreneur or business owner, what would you have done? Like, because I have a lot of those moments where,
like, what I have changed?
Yeah, or like maybe it was a turn back moment, or maybe there's something that happened. Like a turn back moment for me is like Steve Harvey talks about these all the time, where it's like you have a moment where you could quit. You could just be like, you know, this isn't working. I can go back, live with my mom, you know, go get a job at Wendy's, flipping burgers, whatever it is, you know, like you have those moments as an entrepreneur and a business owner to be like, okay, like, you know, this ain't working. Like I'll just, you know, put it in the sack and call it quits, ring the bell, right? But was there a time as an entrepreneur or business owner that you can like reflect back and tell yourself as a younger person, like, hey man, like stop doing this, or hey man, like you really need to do this more, or whatever it is?
Yeah. I never really thought about quitting and going to get a job, because my whole mindset was, don't let $75,000 a year keep you from $75,000 a month. I mean, my mentor, the guy who got me into the network marketing company, he was making, when I started, he was making $100K a month.
Wow.
And so I knew it was possible. And, you know, going to the events and everything, you see all the other people having this success. So it's like, I just got to crack the code. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Stay in the fight, stay in the game, keep going, keep pushing, keep studying, keep getting better, keep working on myself. And then you'll attract success. I mean, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. It's going to happen, but it won't happen if you quit. And so, I mean, I got to making six figures my third year. And when I started, I had a trash bag of clothes and I lived in my buddy's living room. So,
Wow.
yeah. And I mean, I would go to the beach and work my business every day. I was living in my buddy's apartment in Santa Monica. I would go to the beach every day and just work my business out there. But to the other part, things that I look back and would change, or it's like, man, if I just would have, it's always with every single person, it's always what their dark side, you know, it's the dark side. That's really what it is. It's the one thing that if they could just beat that thing, it's, you know, it's like the video game of life.
Right.
If you could beat that one thing, then you would just excel on a whole nother level. And the biggest thing for me was women and partying and drugs. That's what it was. It was chasing women and just partying like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and not staying focused. Which, I mean, that's part of the drifting and not being focused. So I was focused. I was just focused on the wrong things. In my TED talk, I said I was so disciplined in the wrong things that it literally killed me. Right? Because I had that heart attack and died on the table, which we can talk about. But it's like, okay, if I had that same level of discipline and being productive in things that bring me what I want in my life, then what would life look like? And man, in the past, there's like a 10-month period. I mean, I got married. I got my truck, 2024 Dodge 2500 diesel limited Cummins engine. Got the McLaren. I mean, like there's been so much. I got asked to merge after 4 months. I just got asked to be a part of another huge deal. I don't know if I'm going to do it yet, but there's just so much that's taken place, and it's because I focus and I locked in, and I'm not drifting. And I'll tell you, this is the last part to this, because that's a great question. Because people get bored, you know, and then that's when, and that's when they start to like look at other things or get sidetracked. But the success is built in the boredom. You wake up and you do the same thing over and over again, and that's when you become a master of something. And so I look at the two best friends that I have, pretty much, that I spend the most time with, and they're both multimillionaires. And it's like, what's the commonality? It's no matter how much money they have, no matter how much money they make, they get up and they work until they go to sleep, pretty much. And they just don't stop. And so I looked at that. It's like every time I started to have some success, making $20,000 a month and $30,000 a month and $40,000, and then I would slow down. And it's like, well, what would it look like if I just kept going, like, you know, not even staying the same, but working even harder?
Right.
What would that look like? And that's in the place that I'm at now, and I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life, and it's not going to stop. I'll never get comfortable again, ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about your health, and I think that's
Well, my health is great now.
but like the heart attack and stuff.
Oh man, yeah. So, and it's funny because I told you my buddy's birthday is April 4th.
Okay.
So April 4th, 2021. Yeah, April 4th, 2021 was Easter, and a buddy of mine asked me to come work out. So went to work out, was in Austin, and we played basketball after. And I was about 243 to 245-ish pounds. So on the heavier side, but because I was bulking, not like I was fat, right? I was putting weight on to then cut for the summer, which was supposed to happen April 15th. And I noticed that I was huffing and puffing a lot during the game, but I'm thinking it's because I haven't been doing cardio and I'm heavy on the heavier side. And so we get done and we're all by the bleachers hanging out, and usually your heart rate, it slows down. and you catch your breath. But this day, as I was walking outside, I noticed that I really hadn't caught my breath, which was weird because we're at like 10, 15 minutes by this point, and I'm starting to feel some numbing going on my left arm,
Wow.
shortness of breath, like I said. Chest is starting to hurt a little bit, some pain on the
Mm.
left side of my chest, and I'm starting to get a headache, which are all signs of a heart attack.
Mm.
And so get in the car, start driving, and I have a pinched nerve on the left side. So sometimes it's gotten better, but like if I do that, it'll pinch, right? So it'll cause
Uh,
some numbing.
uh,
So I'm like, well, is it because of that, or is it because there's something serious going on? So I'm all in the car, like trying to adjust and everything. And I'm like, man, no matter what I do, it's getting worse and worse. So I pulled over to a gas station, got some Advil, got back in the car, headed out, and I looked at the person I was with, and I'm like, yo, something is not right. I want to go to an ER. And so she was like, let's go. Fortunately, I chose an ER urgent care because if you go to a regular urgent care, they can't help you if you're having a stroke or a heart attack.
oh wow.
Fun fact. And I hope none of the listeners or viewers ever have that happen, but just know they cannot help you at a regular urgent care. They will either call the paramedics or send you to an emergency room. So, by the grace of God, I chose an ER urgent care. And because it was Easter, there was zero traffic. So I got to the clinic in 5 minutes. I walked in, guy at the front's like, "Sir, how can we help you?" I said, "Man, I'm pretty sure I'm having a heart attack." And he asked me for my ID, which I still think is comical to this day. In my
Right.
mind, I'm like, dude, get me to the back and like, let's get this figured out. But I left my wallet in the car. So I had to go back out to the car. Mind you, I'm having a massive heart attack.
Wow.
Yeah. So go get the ID, bring it to them. They rushed me to the back, hooked me up to the EKG. And I'll never forget the look on the doctor's face when, he's looking at the reading of what the EKG is saying. And he's just like, "Sir, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're suffering a severe heart attack right now." Yeah. And in my mind, doctors exaggerate. I had already had one. I had a mild one. This was obviously a lot more severe.
Yeah.
And so they lay me down. They probably had every single person in that clinic in my room giving me different things to drink different things to like chew, swallow, all the different stuff. I guess people are getting different things organized, whatever they're doing. And I just remember the nurse Debbie is the one who was next to me, and I just remember communicating with her how I'm feeling. Like, okay, I'm feeling good. Now it's hurting. I'm having a hard time breathing, and it just got to a point where it's like, I felt myself, my ability to breathe was lessening and lessening.
Oh no.
Yeah, like I couldn't take as deep of breaths, and then I was like, y'all got to do something. Please help me, God. Please help me out. Boom. And it's like everybody's like, did you see something? And I probably could have made up some story and been on multiple TV shows with Steve Harvey, Oprah, Ellen, whatever. But no. So I didn't see anything. It's basically like I went to sleep. And then I heard my name and I was like, please let me be in heaven. But I woke up, fortunately. And the person to the right of me was like, "Welcome back, sir. She just saved your life." So Debbie is the one who saved my life. She had to defib me and do
Oh, wow.
CPR and brought me back. And come to find out about Debbie normally works at the hospital, at the ER, specializing in heart attacks.
Wow.
And she's only at that clinic a couple times a month, and she happened to be there that day.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of alignment,
Yeah.
a lot of symbolism,
Mm-hmm.
which, yeah, man, it definitely shifted my faith. I'll tell you that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Jason, if somebody were to try to get in touch with you, want to talk to you about obviously roofing or just talk to you just in general, I mean, I know you overcame a lot, not only with your health, but like with drug addiction and stuff like that. Like, how would somebody reach out and try to get in contact with you?
Yeah. So my all my social media handles, and I've thought about changing it, but then people are like, man, you can't change that because you're Tatted Prez. It's at Tatted, like tattooed, Tatted, and then Prezz, Tatted Prez.
Awesome.
And then Jason Nemes on Facebook.
Yeah. Jason, I really appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you.